If you guys want to watch something that's different, there's a Prime movie on Prime, and it's called Watch the Skies. It's a foreign film, and I watched it the other day, and I really enjoyed this movie. Now, there's going to be a lot of y'all out there that's going to like this movie, and there's going to be a lot of y'all out there that don't like this. Excuse me, don't like this movie. But I'll read what it's all about, and then we'll go from there. A rebellious teenager who believes her missing father was abducted by aliens joins forces with a quirky UFO club of enduring misfits. They embark on a high stake adventure that defies the law and challenges the very fabric of reality. This is such an entertaining movie. This is not going to be a very long video, but you guys need to put this on your radar. Seriously, need to put this on your radar because I was thoroughly impressed with this movie. Thoroughly impressed. And I've always been into the UFO kind of stuff, the UFO kind of thing. And I used to watch X Files. If you see, I got X Files, like over there. But this girl was hanging out with her dad when he was little, and he was trying to find these wormholes, which are black holes, and he thought there was wormholes and black holes, and they was also trying to see if there's just UFO encounters and stuff like that. So him and a bunch of people got caught, and one guy got shot in the beginning. He got shot in the leg, and then the one guy that was helping him out, he lost his job. So she was a little girl at that time. So he ended up figuring something out, and then he ends up leaving her at home. And she goes, "Let me go with you." And he's like, "No, I want you to stay home." He goes, and then he looked at her in the car, and he smiled at her and drove off. And that's the last time she's seen him. Then you fast forward, she's a teenage girl now, and she kind of like real smart. She kind of picked up, kind of like where he, where he kind of left off because she never stopped, and so she ends up. She had this cop chick that was kind of like was this cop chick, man. She was always trying to keep her out of trouble, and this girl knew how to hack certain things to get in people's building and stuff. It's hard, but this UFO misfit crew, it they it was such a uniquely made movie because I was sitting there watching this movie and never found anything wrong with it. It's a foreign film because I don't know if it's made over in Sweden or something like that, but come find out, you know, uh, the guy that lost his job at this company, this other woman ended up taking over. So uh, she kept, she picked up where her dad left off, and then what started all was her dad's car came out of nowhere and landed in this farm and crashed through a building, a barn. And that car has been missing since, the day her dad drove away that night. So, she looked and she knew it was her dad's car. So she went and she went to go see if it was her dad's car. And it was her dad's car because he had this soundtrack in the cassette player or something, and it had the same song in there. So she knew that was her dad's car. So she knew then something was up. So she goes to these Memphis UFO people that has a little club, and these people that club was so unique. It was such a down to earth club. And there was a guy that got shot in the leg from years back with her dad before his dad come up missing. He ran it, and then the guy that lost his job, he was like there, and then they had these three other people that was in on this little club. So she goes and tries to talk to him. She tries to talk them into picking up where her dad left off. So that's how this movie is set up. But this movie was so uniquely made. I think some of y'all out there would actually like this movie. I really do. I think some of y'all out there would enjoy this movie because I never got tired. I never got bored. I love everybody that was in this movie. These people was just, I think what got me is they look like your average everyday normal people that there was these people trying to find out where this club was at because they was causing some type of problem. Uh, and then the cop was trying to investigate him, was trying to find him as well. So they couldn't locate him because they had this little office somewhere, and they was. In the meantime, this building was tracking these anomalies of these UFO wormholes, but they were covering up, act like they were doing something else, like they were checking the weather or something. But she didn't buy it because she knew what they were doing. So the woman that was taking the guy's spot that was in the club, he had that job years ago, but he got fired. So she took over his spot because she ratted on him. Because if you find all this out as you watch the movie, but this is such a good movie. You have to watch it in order to understand what I'm talking about. Because by me talking like this, you probably be like, I'm not getting what you're saying. Well, you have to watch it. You have to watch it because it's just she ends up, you know what gets me? She ends up finding her dad, and she found out that it was connected to her dad's car. She found out it connected to her car because there was this part where, her and that cop chick was working both sides. And I was trying to figure out what she was all about. And then the guy that got shot in the leg, he didn't like her because he didn't like his little club being messed up. So he was calling the police, and they didn't know it. And they ended up figuring out that he was the one that was doing all that stuff because he was still mad from when his dad her dad betrayed him. So he got shot in the leg. So he was walking with a cane all them years after he got shot in the leg for what her dad did. So there was a lot of connection in between there. And then the guy that was in the club, he lost his job due to her dad. And then the woman that was running this so-called research facility and had all these things out in the middle of nowhere, she took his job. But then they tried to cover up saying that it was something else when they were trying to track this UFO anomaly or something like that, where it can make you go in a wormhole or something. This is a very, very good movie. I was surprised. I'm glad I watched it. So anyway, let me get to the point where I liked it. So I liked it, period. So she gets in her dad's car, and she's on top. The car goes, there's, all these buildings that has cars go up and parks at the top. Well, she's at the top, and that chick cop that was supposed to be her friend, that's like, I don't know what she was doing. She liked the girl, but then she was working for the other side, but then she was like liking the girl at the same time, but then she was trying to arrest her and stuff like that. And then they got in this car wreck, and then both of them, the cop chick had she had bruises from when she was in the car wreck, and then the teenage girl had bruises on her face from the car wreck. And then there was a part where they found out this, they thought that they found where this UFO anomaly thing was at, so they went to this river, and they used this real strong crane that was inside this semi-truck haul thing that you put on the back of a semi-truck, and they pulled out a plane. But what they failed to realize, that the plane had come up missing back when that whole thing was happening. But they didn't know that. They was disappointed. So they was like, girl, we've been listening to you, but everything you've been saying it's just not making any sense. So they kind of like give up on her. And she didn't want, and she got mad at him, called them names and stuff. And then when they all kind of left, she got mad at him and called them names and stuff. So they was mad at her, and then they didn't want to have nothing to do with her. And then when the cop arrested her, she looked at the picture of the plane, and then she had files of that plane that come up missing years ago, and that plane was in that lake, and they pulled that plane up. So then she goes back and talks them into, tries to talk them into going back and just picking up where they left off. But I think three of them didn't want to do it, and then the main guy did, I think. But the heavyset chick and the other guy, they kind of stayed back. Yeah, and there was one other guy. But anyway, this is how this movie is. It just keeps going and going and going. And it makes a lot of sense when you watch it. But to get to the climax of it, though, she's on top of this roof. So she's her and that guy that lost his job, the girl that's the cop got the gun on him. And the guy's in the car, and she's like, If I drive this off the roof, this car should be able to take us through that wormhole. So I wouldn't have done it. So anyway, the cop's sitting there got a gun on him, telling him to get out. She gets in the car. They put on the seat. I mean, she's in the car. She puts the seatbelt on and she floors it. And she goes towards the cop with the gun on him. And then she turns off and she jumps off that great big building. And then they're getting ready to land. They're going like this, like look like they're going to hit the concrete. And then that car just disappears. And the next thing you know, they're in this wormhole and stuff. And that's when she found her dad. But the guy at the same time, he hurt his leg. And so she had to leave him behind. Then when she started going forward, that's when she found her dad. And he was like, there you are. I knew you would come and find me. And then she was like, the whole time she's been wanting to find her dad, but she's like, you knew that I was going to come and look for you. She goes, you knew I was going to come and look for you. And he's like, yeah, come on, you know, and the wormhole's open and it's sucking all kinds of stuff in. She's just looking at him like, you know, you did all this and you made me miss you and all this stuff. So she had to sacrifice not going with her dad, go back and get that guy that stuck with her. And so that's how this whole movie is wrapped up. You have to watch it because it's kind of hard to explain. But man, I tell you, man, I love it. It was a very good movie. So anyway, you get a chance, check this movie out. We'll catch you in the next video. We'll see you.